Ooh, hello, my friends. It's me, Kae Pea. I'm here in my studio, The Moon and the Maker, home of ArtFoamies, and I'm here for ArtFoamies Fun Friday. Oh my, I can't believe it's July 11th already. Just the other day, I was like, oh my gosh, we're already in double digits in July. But here we are, and I'm so excited to be here, as I always am, because we are having an artist spotlight tonight, which we haven't had one for a while. So we are here to support and to spotlight our friend Heather Bailey, who also is known as Live Aloha Creations. So welcome. I hope she's here. I don't know if she's here yet. Let me go and see all my friends who's here. Lisa, you get the gold star. Mary Lynn, Ginger, Janice, Krabby Abby, Catherine Puffer, Ellen, Phyllis, Evelyn. Oh my goodness. Oh yay, I do see Heather. And Heather, we did a sneak peek the other day. You know, you were there, and you've had so many wonderful compliments and kudos. So let's continue, and I hope you're enjoying it already so far. Pam is here, Anna Lee, Brenda. I already said Evelyn, Sharon Eberlin, Amy is in the house. Art by Pat Pato, Patty McFarlane. Oh, usually she's here as Ron, so it's getting me all tongue tied. Susan Handsome is here. Welcome. Maxie Moon is here. Jenny Maroney. I've been thinking about you. I hope you're doing okay. Sending you my thoughts. Roberta. Willa Wanders is here. Fodder School is in the house, my friends. Megan Lochner. Who else? Brianna, also known as Orange Spiral Arts. Kathy Whitney. Maureen. My goodness, what a great group. Thank you all for showing up and turning out to support your friend and artist Heather. Yay, Christina, Karen, Lydia Leonard is here. Kathy, Karina. Great. What a fantastic group. Thanks for coming. I'm going to turn this camera around and share with you all the goods. We are going to play numbers game later, which we have a fun prize, two prizes actually. What else? I don't know if I have anything else to share right at the moment except for Heather Stamp. So I'm going to turn this around. And yay. Okay. So as you know, or I hope that you know, I think you know, last May we did a Mooney, the Great Mooney pop-up. And so every artist from the Mooney pop-up, I wanted to give them an opportunity to do more, because when we had the Mooney pop-up, every artist had anywhere from one to like maybe four, maybe five stamps, just depending on how long they've been, designing. And so I wanted to give each artist an opportunity at their own spotlight to show more of their designs and to continue to build their collection. So this is something really that we do in my Patreon as sort of a perk, but it's also for people who want to design art foamies. I not only show how I design them, then I give you an opportunity to do that if it's something that you would love to do. So this is sort of an ongoing, project, like a what should we call it? Yes, an ongoing collaboration. And so it is really so, it's an honor for me to do this. It is so exciting for me to see the artists come from maybe designing one or two and being a little bit nervous about it sometimes, but then just growing their collection. So it's really, like I said, an honor and such a pleasure. So I'm going to share with you the first four art foamies that Heather designed for the Mooney pop-up, and we are bringing those back. So if you did not get a chance to get Heather Bailey's first collection, they are back in the shop. Okay, so these are the first four images, and again, they're returning. Okay, so this is her. You know what? And I'm going to pull it. I'm so sorry. I'm going to pull it up so I get the names right, because I always just like to rename them. I'll just say, oh, it's called something like that, but it's really helpful if you actually know the name. So this is called Coffee Rings. And I do have to say, Heather is such a good designer. She really, and she has, just clever ideas. So she asked me in the very beginning, what do you think about like coffee rings? And I was like, oh, I wish I would have thought of it. It's great, do it. So here they are, coffee rings. And it's just, all the measurements are also on the website. They're a little bit smaller than a regular coffee ring, right? But there's 2 of them, and it's about 4 inches by about 2. Okay, so there it is, just stamped out. Second one is called Rows of Bubbles, and of course it's just a great mixed media design. I will say that I love Heather's aesthetic. She does sort of remind me of some of my favorite designers for ArtFoamies. And, you know, sometimes you look at them and you think they're very simple, but those simple mark making ones are just so good and versatile. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Donna Downey. Really goes super well with Seth Apter stuff. Obviously goes really with anything, but those are the things that they kind of remind me of. And I just love, I will often reach for these, okay, because they're like standards and they're just good. Okay, so that's Rows of Bubbles. This next one is a favorite, and I do use it pretty often in my mixed media stuff, and this is just called Swiss Crosses. And again, really nice size at about, I think, 4 by 4. Next one, again, just super versatile for making texture marks. And I also like it for doing swatching. So this one's called Mixing Lines. Okay, so those are the first 4 really nice just design elements from the first Mooney pop-up and Heather Bailey's very strong collection. Okay, so I love those. If you don't have some of these, definitely grab them. Okay, so that's that. And you will see them used in some of my work here too. So the new ones, I know you want to see the new ones. Yes, that's what Patty McFarlane says, they're workhorses. And yeah, so just workhorse stamps that are great to have in your library, okay? And you know, you might say like, well, why would I get that if I already have one like this from Donna Downey or this from, you know, Julie Balzer or whatever. But because they are super good mix and match, depends on maybe the size that you would want, you know, stuff like that. So keep that in mind when you are choosing those kinds of mixed media workhorse stamps. Great, great descriptor, Patty. Thank you. So the next one coming up here is from Heather's new collection, okay, from her Spotlight offering. And this is a really good one. I know anybody who does swapping or happy mail is going to want this set. It's really a good, again, kind of a workhorse set because it also has just some sort of, and excuse me for using this word, but yes, classics, generics, sort of, you know, when I do say generic, it is not meaning anything negative. I know it might sound a little negative, but like I like those stamps because then I can also mix and match them in my own art and not feel like, oh gosh, everybody's going to say, oh, that's just Heather stamp in there, you know, which is great. It's not like you don't want to recognize the stamps, but sometimes when you're doing your own work, you don't necessarily want something that's super recognizable. You want the workhorses, you want the more generic ones to go in there. So this has an element of that with these just borders. Okay, so you got this nice little just organic kind of rectangle, and this is great for mailing label. That's what this is called, the Happy Mail or swap set. Okay, and it does come with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stamps. Okay, you got these two the little rosette. Okay, you got a little rosette and you got a little solid heart. Nice little minis, and these are great, of course, for, you know, incorporate. You already know, I don't have to really tell you, but really nice to make borders or just to incorporate if you are doing happy mail envelopes, stuff like that. Okay, so you got the two little minis, the heart and the rosette. You have this sort of just, and I hesitate to call it a checkerboard because it is more just like a little you know, organic border, again with little notches. Okay, so it kind of looks like a little checker border, but again, just organic. And I do have it stamped on the back here just to be able to show you in black. There's that little border, and then I did take the ATC stamp and stamp inside of it. It's really nice. I love this. I did another one just to be able to show you that you can use it with or without. Here it is without the border. Okay, so that If you have something a little smaller, like here I had one of my little medium size postage stamps, right? And it's a little smaller, so it doesn't really fit the border. So I can just use the ATC swap stamp by itself on the back. Again, workhorse, really nice. And Heather actually asked, this was Heather's idea. And then I don't know, a few months ago, I came out with some ATC ones, and then I felt bad because it was really Heather's idea. And she said, well, you just came out with some. Do you still want it? And I said, yes, absolutely. Because, maybe people don't want, or, if you're doing swaps and you're doing ATCs, you might want some different ones anyway. You don't always want to use the same one, but this one is a little more versatile. Okay. Yeah. I will, Annalie, I will. I'll say, oh, I'm just not going to get into it. And then I'll just get into it. But anyway, so it's really great because, again, I know you can't see this very well, but it doesn't have any kind of border on there. It's just the words. But then again, you can fit it in a border. You could fit it in the border that Heather made or some other border, right? Or make your own border. And the nice thing is that you get to use these two borders sort of however you want, plain or, fill them in. Okay. So again, comes with the two organic sort of borders, your ATC stamp. You have the words carte postale, postcard, swap enclosed, and happy mail. And they're just really nice sort of, card maker sizes. And I don't know what size that would actually be, but let's see, about 3 inches long approximately, and then just half an inch deep, right? So again, 9 stamps, super handy. And there you have it, the Happy Mail swap set. Okay. And I think it was supposed to be called Happy Mail set, but we ended up listing it as ATC swap set, which we did. It's so funny. We named everything wrong. And then Heather was like, oh, these flowers, it's kind of important that you get them right. Anyway, so I did do, that I'm a Dexy collectie. No, I'm a Dexy collector. I'm a Dexy maker. Anyway, I do a commemorative Dexy for every launch. So this is my Heather Bailey Dexy, and I did have a lot of fun creating this piece. And I know it's not an ATC, but I wanted to show all the stamps on there, and I even stamped her name, the little artist spotlight sticker, and there you have it. And then again, here, I haven't shown these yet, but these are Heather's other stamps. These are not sold as a set, okay? We did decide to sell them individually because I know if you have a lot of the past, especially if you have some of the past florals that, that we've sold and that we've had, these will go fantastic with those or on their own. I love them together. Here they are, a Gerber daisy, which we had called it a zinnia, completely wrong, but it is a Gerber daisy. And there it is, really nice size too, about 2.5 or 3 inches around. Yeah, about 3 inches around. You have some eucalyptus, and I actually love this. It is really such a nice piece of foliage to put in any type of florally thing that you're doing. Okay, yeah, the florals are great. Ooh, Heather says I was able to layer it over your portal ATC stamp. It looked cute. Oh, I have to see that. Yes, and make sure we will be, of course, sharing all of Heather's links and they're in the newsletter too. Please make sure you are signed up to receive our newsletter. We promise we don't spam you. We only send 1 newsletter per week. And it has all the pertinent ArtFoamy information in there. So please make sure that you are following Heather on her Instagram and her Live Aloha Creations shop. So this is about 5 inches tall and about 1 3/4 at its, or 1.5, about a little over 1.5 at its widest point. But this is a eucalyptus sprig, and I love it. Really just super nice, simple, nice line quality, and it just goes. And I love the fact too, as with many of those sort of linear stamps, you can bend them when you stamp them so you can have it going different ways. Okay, so I love that. Oh yes, thank you, Kathy. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. We'll make sure to add that in. Yeah, about 3 inches for the daisy and about 5 inches tall for the eucalyptus. And then this one is actually safflowers, but I think on the site we just called them tufted blossoms, okay? But Heather did tell me they are safflowers, and they're sort of just a cluster of safflowers, and that is about 4 inches by about 4 inches approximately, okay? Super nice. And again, there they are, just stamped out in color, okay? And then here I do have them again. I'll show you the ATC cards again. And then I do have it stamped here on this ledger paper, which looks really cool. Okay, this was a really fun little project. I did share this yesterday. We did a little sneak peek, and then I showed how I did that on one of these Dexy cards that is one of the vintage ledger Rolodex cards, okay? You know, we've been doing Rolodexes way back for probably about 2 years, I think, in my Patreon. So last year when we did the Mooney pop-up, I did, and I'm so happy that I did this because I have all of Heather's past Mooney pop-up stamps here on little Rolodex cards. So that was a nice way to kind of, you know, keep track and commemorate those as well. So for the demo tonight, though, I thought it'd be super fun. Let me just stop for a second, see if you have any thoughts or questions. Lee, welcome. Thanks for coming. Reenie, thank you. Yes, the safflowers are so cool. Yes, she says, we're getting a bad storm here. Oh my gosh, it is 900 degrees. Yes, everybody's just giving lots of kudos and love to Heather Bailey, which is very deserved. Okay, so here I did do a little fun, ArtFoamy fun on some canvas, and just having a little go with a mixed media project on a bit of canvas. So for those of you who followed me for a long time, you know that a lot of times I like to use raw canvas, okay? I just found that it was pretty economical, and I had a lot of big rolls of canvas around my studio, so I would just rip pieces off, and I used them a lot of times for sorry, Lydia. Yes, I will see what I can do. That will be a difficult challenge, but I will see what I could do about that, okay? That is such a great idea. Anyway, roll canvas can be pretty economical, and I like to use it a lot of times as my blotter when I'm doing mixed media stuff, because then I get other pieces of, you know, bits of things that I can use for other projects, okay? So I love raw canvas, and lots of times, like I said, I will use it for my blotter because you get some really unexpected, not only can I get just these kind of, you know, textural, and I hesitate to use the word, but it's dirty, okay? I don't have, you know, not dirty in a bad way, but dirty in a good way. I get to texture it up without too much thought or effort. And then I can stamp and stencil and draw and paint over the top, and I can come up with some really beautiful pieces. Like here, I wanted to share this with you because this is something that just ended up on one of my blotters. So I will, you know, stamp and paint and stencil and use this, and then I will mount this onto a onto another board, or maybe onto a journal, a plain journal cover or something like that. Okay, so again, I utilize a lot of the canvas, as you can see, the fronts and backs. So here I am, and I just pulled this out to show that to you, because this could become a really cool piece if I stamp, you know, some of Heather's, you know, flowers in here, whatever. But I'm going to save this because I'm not sure what I'm doing with this yet. I just wanted to show you how things can evolve that way. And so I'm going to throw that back there. And I'm going to work on this piece, actually. I don't know, on this, I don't know if you can kind of see, I had some little scribbles, and I had some of that pink and sort of splatters were already there in the background. I just stamped over it and smushed some more color, and voila. And now I can stretch this onto a board, a block of wood, a book, whatever I want. Okay, so we'll have a little fun with that. Yes. So Robin Marie Smith is in the house. Oh my gosh, I have Willow Wanders and Robin Marie Smith and Heather Bailey all here at one time. I'm gonna fangirl all over you guys. Anyway, okay, so here we go. I'm just gonna take, and I'm actually going to, I'm gonna pretty much just use the same stamps that I used for the other piece, and I think I'm gonna ignore this right here. I'm not even gonna use that. Also, one thing to keep in mind is that whatever that you wanted to mount this on, you would want to make sure, right, that you size it right for what you want to put it on. Okay, so that just goes without saying. All right, so over here I am going to, you know what, I need to go get a scrap buddy. Sorry about that, I forgot my scrap buddies. Get a little black gesso. And whatever, it does not have to be black, right? It could be whatever color I want to stamp in. But I'm just going to do everything in black, not only for, you know, the ease of the demo, but, oh, you know what? I am going to use this first. Oftentimes I will do it after, it's no big deal, but I think I want to put a little more texture in the background before I stamp. Okay, so I'm gonna, I'm gonna use this light blue first. Just a little dab will do ya. And I don't necessarily want it to stamp super crisp, you know, like I don't mind if it has a few bald spots or looks a little distressed, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's all gonna, you know, a lot of it's gonna be painted over anyway, so really does not matter that much. Just doing it for a little more peaks of pattern and color in the background. Lots and lots of that is not even going to show. All right, so here we'll get going with the black now. Danette, welcome. Thanks for coming. I hope I did not miss saying hello to anybody. I know sometimes I don't always see the comments because I don't have eyes in the top of my head. Actually, I want to start with this Gerber daisy first. It is hard to stamp, paint, and demo and read comments at the same time, although I do try. All right, and that was a little dark. It's okay. You know, I'm going to end up painting over it, and I'm not going to stress about it, okay? So here, again, I just want part of that. And you can see I just sort of lifted up that back and just press down that top. And I'm going to do the same thing, only I'm turning it. One thing, like I said, I love these kind of stamps that are, you know, kind of long and, you know, what's the word? Pliable like that, because you can turn them and get them going a little different way. All right, and then here I'm going to, in its entirety. And one thing I'm just going to mention again for anybody who may not have used ArtFoamies that much or still, you know, learning, is that when you do use acrylic paint or gesso, whatever, you want to make sure that you clean off your ArtFoamies pretty quickly, just because you don't want them to get crusty, okay? If your paint dries on there crusty, then it doesn't really ruin the stamps, but they just it doesn't do them any favors, okay? It kind of gets them a little hard, and then they don't stamp as well, and they won't take other water soluble mediums anymore, like what, you know, watercolor sticks and stuff just don't work on there quite as nicely. So I do use, generally I use some baby, if I don't have access to running water, I'll spritz them with a little rubbing alcohol and then wipe them with the baby wipe. And I always do try to blot them off right after I use them, at least, okay? And you can always just wipe them or put a wet paper towel until you can, you know, take them to the sink and wash them with water. Also, if I'm just cleaning them, it just gives me a little chance to let this dry for a moment. Plus you get a little ASMR. One thing I wanted to point out, I forgot to tell you when I was actually showing you the sample, is here I did use Heather's mixed lines, sort of just to make a little grid pattern. And that's really a nice, this is really super nice if you do want to kind of get that ledgery look, you know. So the name of the little flower you just used, this one here is called, this grouping is called Tufted Blossoms. And again, it's under Artist Spotlight or under New Heather Bailey. Yeah, Tufted Blossoms. Oh, that's a great idea too, Puffer. She says, I have a tray from the Dollar Tree, and you just set a wet rag on there, and then you can set them face down. All right, so here I do have, and I'm just going to show you again my sort of example piece again. And so I really just took my acrylic paints, whatever colors, and I just had so much fun going in. And just a few, I had a couple, like my cheapest brushes, okay? I have a few So Flats, just pulled out some colors that I like. I have my green gold. Sadly, I am completely out of green gold in my fluid acrylics, so that was a bummer, but I did have my heavy body, so that's great. Just a mixing and a matching, okay? Oh, Evelyn, I love that. Oh my gosh. I have a new kitty patron. Well, you know I'm a cat lady, so it's great. Okay. So first, let's see here. Let's just squeeze out some colors right here on my table. Lots of times I will use my tabletop as a little palette. It wipes off pretty easily, so no big deal, especially when I'm going at it like this. Get some greens. So Heather Bailey, I was just talking with her yesterday, and she has had her shop online since 2017. Can you believe that? 2017. Already seems so long ago. So yeah, I'm just gonna dig right in and start painting. Oh, I'm gonna start with my background a little bit. First, I need some white. Again, I just have this cheap brush. It's like from a kid's set, I think. And I'm just going to be smushing in color all around. And you know, some of it, I won't lie to you, I don't really like how dark that's stamped, so I will end up probably painting right over some of that. And it's the nice thing about working with acrylics like this, and another reason why I do enjoy working on the, you know, on the blotter or things that I already have texture on, is because you still get, like, look at that. That is so cool right there. That I can paint anything out that I don't want. And I'm going in with a little of that same sort of baby blue. It's light phthalo blue that I stamped those crosses in. And so that's going to actually make some of those disappear. Okay. And that is just fine with me. I don't necessarily want them all to show. I would just want a few of them to show here and there. Also, if you, the great thing too is that if you get any like little shadow stamping that you don't like, all that can all, you know, will also disappear. So you can just be the sloppiest, you know, stamper when you're beginning this, and then you get to sort of make it all start to get better. And see how it's starting to pop out a little bit? I'm going to go in, I think, with some green. Some green now, and I am mixing up, I don't know if you can see over here, I'm just mushing together a few of my greens, some white, and some of that baby blue until I get a color that I like. So the other thing, Heather and I were messaging today back and forth, and I hope that you make sure to go over and see what she's been messing around with. And we'll be sharing more pictures and stuff too, you know, throughout the week. But she was playing with some cyanotype. Is that how you say it? Cyanotype, where you put it out in the sun. And oh my gosh, that is so, I am so excited. I have some of that around here somewhere, and I'm so excited to try it with the ArtFoamies. Remember, this is probably a little distracting, but this is gonna not be there. Okay, I'm gonna cut that off there. Oh, shadow stamping is, you know, when you get like a shadow, Terry, the shadow that you don't want, you know, like where maybe the edge or something stamps on, not on purpose, like on accident. So, and you don't, you know, you don't always want that. So it's just, but it's okay. You know, like a lot of times when you stamp like that, you're like, oh, darn, you know, I didn't want that to happen. But when you're painting like this, it works out all right. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and go and start to maybe paint in some of these areas a little bit. Paint in some of the eucalyptus leaves. I don't know. I won't lie, I wish I had fluid acrylic in my green gold. I need to order some. And we will do the numbers game in just a few minutes. Don't start without me. I'll tell you when to start. But for those of you who have not joined us here before, if you're new, thank you for coming. And it also means if you're new that you might not know about the numbers game. So we do play a funny little game each week where I write down a number. It's right on this little card. You're not going to start without me yet, though, right? I'll tell you when to go. Anyway, you choose a number between 1 and 100. The person that is closest without going over will win the prize. If you pick a number and somebody else already has chosen that number, do not change your number. It's the first person to write it down, okay? So I'm just going over all the rules of the numbers game. All right, and I'm going to do this really quickly, okay? We do want to start with our numbers game soon, and it is getting very, very hot in my studio, so I'm just going to try to go through the piece as quickly as possible. I might not even fully, paint it exact, but I want you to get the gist. And of course, if I'm here not live and I'm just painting in my studio and I'm just doing this, I'm probably use some different brushes and take a little more time, whatever, have a little more care with it. And got a little dark there, so I want to maybe try to push that out a bit. When I say push it out, I just mean cover it so that my dark lines aren't quite so dark. And like I'm just still using this as a blotter. And when I'm done, I'll just cut that off. And then, of course, you can look up Gerber daisies. Oh my gosh, so many beautiful, beautiful colors. So you can just have so much fun, experimenting with your color, different color combinations, because they got pink and oranges and yellows and whites and so many beautiful, vibrant, gradient colors. So that's just really, really fun. And making sort of a lot of work for myself because I just keep struggling with one brush instead of switching brushes, but that's okay. I like to torture myself like that. A little brighter yellow. And then here I'm just going to go that, because safflowers, if you look up safflowers, they have this beautiful tuft of yellow and orange. And actually the bottom part, that bulbous part, is actually shades of greens. So Should have done that. I'm going to go ahead and let a little pink or whatever's poke through that and just be sort of a, I don't know, just maybe making a mess with that color now. All right, so now, and as I did in this one, I just took, again, some of those same colors up into the upper area up here. Oops. Smush it out a bit. And then I'll go back in probably with either my paint pen or even just some more white and do some little mark making, or you know, some little highlights here and there. I do have quite a few little dots of color back in there, you can see. So, you know, maybe go back in with even some of my blue, and can even use that for a little, like, I don't know, shading, or not really shading, but you know, other areas that you want to maybe fill in a little bit more. You can go in with other colors, do that. And then, oh, I did take and just with a little color on there and sort of highlight some of those, well, let me see if I can do it. That's still a little wet. Kind of pulled out some of the crosses where you could see them just a little bit. Like so. Okay, and then down here, probably more too. And I probably would also do a little more value, like maybe some darker lines. I don't know, definitely a little more smushing down in there. Okay, so then of course, like I said, if you want to mount this onto something, if you have any, like a lot of times I have old wood panels that I have experimented on or that I'm not going to use, I can stretch that over a wood panel. Or make a journal cover, or if you have any pre-made journal covers, I had one that I made here, again, out of raw canvas. I'll just show it to you. I have a few here. So I pulled them out because I might want to mount. So like I make these sometimes out of just raw canvas covers. And like here I have one that is really nice Fabriano paper. I think I'm actually just going to take that. That's what I love about this. So now I can just snip this and tear it. Don't you hate the word whoops when you're when you're working on something? So I think, voila, that should fit so nicely right on there. I'm super excited. And now I've made this ages ago, and it has really nice Fabriano paper in it. But I've just had this cover like this. So, I mean, of course I could have just stamped right on here, but I think I'm going to like doubling that up and having that nice layer. And of course I could stitch it on if I wanted to, or I could glue it and then stitch it. I think I'm going to go ahead and tear it again at this notch, so I just have a little bit more of a border. Messing me up. And then voila, I have a little border. I could paint that canvas underneath and mount it right to it. And oh, I'm so excited. Now I'm going to have a beautiful cover for my Fabriano handmade journal. Super fun, fast, and easy. And ArtFoamies fun. Yeah. All right. Let me see. Yes, Phyllis says the eucalyptus is so versatile, Heather. Yay. Thank you so much, lady. Okay, let's do the numbers game. And I also want to go, so you can go with your number at any time. I have a number in here between 1 and 100. The winner will receive, oh gosh, let me just tell you about what you're going to receive. You are going to receive a set of your choice from the Heather Bailey collection. And you are going to also receive, ooh, this is so fun. You're going to receive, because I haven't really talked about this here. This is something that our group did for a swap, and we turned it into a zine. It has artwork from many of our ArtFoamies community members, and so I'm going to send you a copy of this as well. Okay, so let me go ahead. You know, I'm going to give you until 4:50. It's 4:49 right now. We're going to go till 4:50. Okay, and we're starting with Lee Holman, 7, Anna Lee, 26, Ginger, 17, D. Ray, 13, Evelyn, 17, Susan Handsome, 34, Sharon, 31, Terry Moore, 19, Art by Pato, 4, Bobby, 43, Ellen, 14, Krabby Abby, 41, Gail Foos, 88, Carmen Jones, 53, Sharon, 14, Phyllis, 23, Janice, 5, AG, 12, Lydia, 52, Jenny Maroney, 77, Catherine, 26, Kathy Berg, 15, Acme Post, 20, Sherry, 32, Elsie, 86, Jamie, 47, Suze, 13, Pamela, 22, Kathy, 76, Orange Spiral, 16, Maureen Wong, 9, Robin Marie Smith, 85, Brenda LaBarba, 27, Yolanda Gonzalez, 85, Christine Schiaffo, 48, Heather Bailey, 1,000, Roberta, 29, Rini, 33, Ellen, 87, Puff, 2, Karina, 1, Danelle, 21, Danette, 63. Last number, if you did not hear me call your number, go ahead and type it again if you did not hear me call it. Mary Lynn, number 11. And no more number. Well, last call for numbers. Anybody else? And then no more numbers. I got to see who is the winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. No, not really. No chicken for me. Let's see. We do have a winner. Not an on the nose winner, but a very close winner. Let me go back and just double check. Put this here so you can look at something instead of just staring at a blank table. Okay, so let's just go back through really quick and make sure. I'm pretty sure that I see the winner. I want to make sure. Okay, we do have a winner. No more numbers. The winner is Gail Foos at 88. The number was 90. Yay, Gail. I want to thank you so much for playing along. I want to thank you for coming here and spending time with me on your Friday evening. I want to thank you for supporting all of our artists. I want to thank all of our artists for supporting ArtFoamies and sharing your art with us. I want to thank especially the Mooney artists and the Artist Spotlight artists for their contributions, for all of your support of not only my Patreon page, but of our community, of ArtFoamies, of Rubberman, of everything that I do. You are so appreciated and so loved. And I really mean it with every fiber of my being. All right, let's see here. Yay. All right. I'm going to turn the camera around again. I want to say thank you so much to Heather Bailey for your collaboration and for having a spotlight with ArtFoamies. Remember, this spotlight will be available all month. Okay, so it's listed right now on July 11th. It will come off or be, it will no longer be on our website as of August 12th. So it'll go through August 11th. All right. Beautiful, wonderful, fantastic images and ArtFoamies from Heather Bailey at Live Aloha Creations. I thank you again. And I will see you real soon. For those of you who love the Faraway Girls and love Megan, please join us for a Zoom on Sunday at noon Eastern time. Okay, the link will be up on Sunday morning, so be looking for it. If you follow us, me and Megan will share the link, and you can come hang out and see the Faraway Girls, see what we've created, and see the new ones coming out. And you're going to get a sneak peek, put it that way. Anyway, thank you so much for coming, everybody. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you real soon. Love you to the moon and back. Stay safe, stay sane if you can, and stay makey. Bye.